I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're taking a look at a very imaginative novel. It is called The Werewolves of West Virginia and the Detective from South Wales Valleys by Andrew Brookman. He is an amazingly talented author. This gripping novel combines mystery and horror following a detective from South Wales as he investigates a chilling case in West Virginia involving a missing boy, secretive locals, and a disturbing revelation that will leave readers in shock. We're delighted to have this talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Prime 7 Media for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel. Andrew, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for reading my book.
Oh, my pleasure. Your book is amazing. Whatever inspired
Thank you.
this imaginative book of yours?
I love books. I love detectives. Werewolves fascinate me. They always have. They scare me. They terrify me. They always have. And I wanted to write a story about a werewolf who he gets brought up by a detective through circumstance and the humanity of it all. So it's a horror story, but there's lots of humanity in there as well.
Absolutely.
So it's a human story as well as a horror story. You know, and it's set in a lovely town of West Virginia, in the US. So yeah, it's a warm story as well.
What made you decide to set it in West Virginia? That's kind of a off the charts kind of place, off
Yeah,
the grid kind of place.
I knew you'd ask that.
Yeah.
My favorite actress of all time, and my friend, is the late Louise Fletcher. She was Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
Yeah.
and she had a house in West Virginia, and that's where that came from. I'd never been there, never been to the US, but that's where that came from, because that's where she had a house for many years, near to her mother.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
very, very interesting. But of course, all you need is your imagination and a locale, and you can make that location any way you
yeah,
want it to be.
yeah.
Now,
Anyway,
you
anyway,
combine different
yeah,
elements with the story. You have the detective mystery, you have supernatural. What made you to combine these
yeah.
different genres?
I wanted a detective story, so it was the detective was searching for a little boy. He was looking at the movies to West Virginia to find out where the boy came from, and everything. And then the detective, he goes to very dark places. So he talks to dead people. This paranormal, where he goes into a factory, where the great grandfather, great grandfather. So the great grandfather speaks to him, and his own grandfather speaks to him, and yeah, there's all these dark elements and these dark stories. So yeah, it goes from a detective story into the paranormal as well.
Yeah.
So it's really a gripping story.
Yeah.
And it's very scary as well. What he encounters, you know,
It's a great
because
combination. There actually was a TV series back in the 1970s here in the States called Night Stalker, which was about a private detective or a newspaper man who used to go after the supernatural characters like werewolves and vampires and stuff. So have you visualized this perhaps as
right,
a movie or a TV series?
Yeah. Hopefully, it's unusual. It's not a horror story. It is a horror story, but it's got lots of elements. It's got humanity. It's got paranormal. It's got ghosts. It's just a gripping story, really. And it's intriguing. It's something unusual. I like unusual. I'm very creative, and I love unusual, and I go very deep. I go
Absolutely.
very deep with my characters, my stories. So yeah, hopefully, yeah.
And the story centers around a boy who's gone missing. Tell us about that.
So there's a lot of murders in the woods in London, where the detective from the South Wales Valleys lives, and they people have been killed by what looks like a wolf or a large animal, and there's a little bit on the murder scenes, and he calls the detective, and he says, "Has there been a murder? Has there been a murder?" And the detective always sees him, and there was clothes found at the murder scenes of a child. So the detective puts two and two together, and he says, "Well, this little boy is always at the crime scenes. This little boy's clothes are being found, and they've been torn." So he then goes to the foster, and he asks a lot of questions, and then the little boy goes missing, and that takes the detective to West Virginia, where he goes deeper. He does deeper with the boy's parents, why he was adopted. Yeah, it's a lot deeper once it gets to West Virginia.
Yeah. Now, I can see this detective
It's
in other stories as well. Have you considered sequels for your book?
I like to be very creative, so I like to I love the genre of horror. I love horror. I love writing. So when I start a book, I don't know where it's going to take me. There could be a sequel, but if there was a sequel, it would be about the detective, rather than about because I won't tell you what happens, but it would be about the detective. So there could be a sequel, but I like to explore. I like to make new stories. I love being creative with new stories. So yeah, and I never know where they're going to take me.
Yeah, that's what's wonderful about it. Have you written any other books?
Yes, I've written a children's book. There it is. See it? Oh, that's my children's
My
book.
Grandfather Floating Up in the Air by Andrew Brookman. Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah.
Watch out for
And
that ceiling fan, though, right?
It's dedicated to Louise Fletcher,
Yeah.
Who was Nurse Ratched in One Flew of the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
So it's dedicated to her. And there's also Autobiography of a Demon.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Again, a very imaginative
So,
story, I'm sure. Well, the name of this book is The Werewolves of West Virginia and the Detective from South Wales Valleys by Andrew Brookman. Andrew Brookman is a very imaginative, talented writer, and he has put together a gripping novel that combines mystery and horror. The classic detective versus werewolves. Yep, it's a great tale. It is set in West Virginia. It's a story you won't forget. It involves a missing boy. There are secretive people, secretive locals, and there are some shocks at the end that will leave you with your mouth agape. It is quite a story indeed. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Can I also mention one more thing, Logan?
Sure,
Sorry.
absolutely.
Can I mention one more thing? Oh, my my new book. This is my new book.
Wonderful.
It's a biography of Louise Fletcher. So that's coming out in December.
Wonderful. She was an amazing actress. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was one of my favorite films. She is immortalized forever. She is an icon in Hollywood because of her portrayal of Nurse Ratched, the icy, cold head nurse in a mental hospital who did evil things in the nicest of ways. Andrew, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Crawford.
My pleasure. Look forward to talking to you again down the road. Yep. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.